Okay. Um, First and foremost, I want to say thank you, God. I want to say thank you, God, because I didn't have to live the life of this purpose. Whatever benefits, whatever incentives they got out of it, it was at the cost of their own self-respect. And we all gonna die. Death is something that's gonna happen to all of us, and I'd rather die in whatever horrible way than having to live life like these bottom feeders. They sold their soul to pedophiles, and I shouldn't be saying that. I think that's my emotions. They sold their soul to entities with a lot of issues. I was just watching this thing. There was like this big sting where there was like 123 individuals arrested because they were trying to try to be with some children, right? This is reality, right? And seeing that people are being contracted, incentivized to live a life where they are involved in a program that is adjusting men's or woman's brain to have these disturbing reactions toward children, it's just foul. That's the life of these bottom feeders. They live in and out to create this. But it's okay. Whatever they do is going to come back to them at prices. I think it's already shown that it's going to happen. 2 seconds ago, this is how disturbing it is. 2 seconds ago, I was watching this guy. They were like trying to figure out who's the psychopath in a group of individual, and there was this man who ended up being the psychopath. And this is how they try to make you start having logics and thoughts. They really are restructuring your brain to identify with the manipulations, and they have no shame. They understand they have to turn on they have to turn off the intellect. I know they're obviously smarter than what they're having to present themselves as, and not present, but how they want you to start thinking. I know that, of course. That's their job, to dumb themselves down, in order for me to identify with the way they want me to think, because day in and day out they manipulate the brain in these disgusting ways. It's the tactic that's been done systematically, not only to me but to many others. This is how they break down target individual. It's the way that they pattern the brain so they can repattern them, repattern us in different ways to start controlling. It's obvious. That's what they do. And they use some of the people. I think they are really really mentally like mentally behind. Like, there's not all of them, but some of them, like children, are on that spectrum, that they start thinking that this makes sense. But majority of them obviously know we have to dumb ourselves down in this way, right? They know it's like, oh, I have to become this childlike minded. I have to lose sense of rationality and logic, because in this program, in order for these target individual to identify, I have to dumb myself down, because the way they're going to break him down using these tactics is the way they're going to be able to control him. They know this. Others are children like individual who are truly mentally that behind. They're like, oh no, we proved that it's retardation. I was watching this man saying that he's a psychopath. He found that out after being arrested over and over and over for random things, for things that are not good, I guess. For serious stuff. And he decided to go get checked and see a doctor, because there was a pattern here. He was keep getting arrested, keep doing, and so he figured out, okay, let me figure out what's going on here. And they found out that he was a psychopath. And obviously, he he was showing behavior that he was he had a problem. He was keep getting arrested. He keep getting, things were happening to him all the time. At the end, they asked him, did anything change since you found out about your diagnosis? And he's like, you know what, my age changed, but I don't think people change really. And then they start thinking, you remember what you did as a these people are that's how stupid they have to make themselves be. This is how childlike these people have to be. This is how they have to that's how they have to minimize the logic. Somebody came open the door and that's the job. That like, I shouldn't even get frustrated. It's like, man, all I'm thinking is like, can you imagine if I was the one doing this? Like the level of spectralism these people have to be on, it's just magical. Like the self-respect that you have to remove out of you to do these things is beyond embarrassing. They're like, no, but because they keep bringing up what I did as a child and try to because they do this nasty manipulation, disgusting stimulation toward kids. It's so nasty. And then every time they make me experience this thing, they're like, "Now what we're doing, we mapped it to you as a kid when you were a kid," and they try to bring up the stupid thing I did as a kid. There's something I did as a child that never happened again. There's a stupid moment of a child. You know how a kid can do impulsive things. It's not something that happened multiple times. It's just one thing that just happened. Is they try to even exaggerate, and today they're like, "No, but," and they to the point where they even try to create false pattern because a child can do something impulsive. That's what kids can do. A child can grab a rock and throw a rock, bah, and that's it. If you can't and throw a rock and break a glass, or do something and break something, but if that child does that all the time, then there's a problem, right? So they try to create false pattern to make me accept this manipulation I'm experiencing today. Now I know what they do is what's systematically done to others. They do the pedophilia type of torture. They break people down using pedophilia. So every time I look at a child, a little girl especially, they force me to get stimulation. This is how they play with me, to disturb me. They play with your sexual arousals, they make you have sexual stimulations, and they're like, no, now we mapped it to you as a child. You see, remember with that time what you did? And so today when this guy says is because I'm like, are you serious? So you're saying you make my brain be a child? And this guy said something about people don't change, he's talking about people who do these things. He's talking about if you know, obviously this is a psychopath we're talking about, but this guy has been showing a pattern of what he's doing over and over and over, doing the same thing. He's not talking about this damn thing he did when he was in middle school. He's talking about what he's been doing through his adulthood. But of course, this is what they do, because as we are being used as test subjects, they want you to break down and accept these manipulations. And they have no self-respect, because my brain can go with any retardation of thoughts, and they have to stoop to that level of retardation. They have to become themselves mentally handicapped. They have to make themselves, yesterday there was nothing more obvious to me than what they do to me. And I was listening to this, and I'll make a nice video about it, about the way they break people down. They have this derogative tactics, this breaking down of the human psyche, of the human ego, which is consistently like just try to break you, to insult you. They have, this is something they do. It's part of the depattering tactics. And this man, Robert Duncan, said these are part of the tactic to depattern you so they can start reshaping you. It's needed in this program. Every target individual have some kind of ways they break them down. Pedophilia is usually used a lot of times. So they're doing the same thing, and they try to break me down with the manipulations and the ways they just disturb me, which is not unique to me. But my brain has been so manipulated. Oh. To the point that makes sense. To the point where in my brain, I'm listening to some psychopath who says, people don't change, they just get old. It's like, yeah, people who've been having behavior of such, meaning that these things have been happening. Then he's not talking about a child doing some dumb thing once in middle school, and then never thought about it. It's like, no, people don't change. Remember what you did in middle school? This is how stupid they have to make themselves be. Because at the end of the day, the reality of the entities that are dangerous to children, they're working for them. They're working for entities where pedophilia is such a problem, and you see a true pattern, a true behavior there. A behavior that shows that there is a problem with pedophilia in these entities. To the point that they're trafficking child pornography, so much so, using the DoD network, that they're ranked 19th out of 2,900. This is not them doing something stupid when they're children. One time. It's them consistently repetitively doing the same thing, showing this a behavior that is while downloading child porn, using government entity devices network, showing a pure pattern, a pure consistent behavior of pedophilia. This is who they work for. Now, these people, they have no choice. This is reality. They choose to work for this program, but you have to understand what comes with it. Not only you do these foul things to people consistently, but the entities that you work for have been showing a consistent pattern to the point that in 2018, not too long ago, they were ranked in regard of trafficking the most child porn via the DoD network. Let me repeat. They were ranked for sharing the most child porn. And this trash want me to think that these people working for these entities are telling me the manipulation I'm experiencing today, it should be accepted, because when I was in 8th grade, in middle school, this stupid thing I did as a child should now be accepted today as an adult, when I went through all my life as an adult and in my childhood, never experiencing this nasty stimulation. But because when I was in middle school, I should be. This is obviously what they try to do. They try to break you down. So for me, my head, the one thing they try to, in this program they like to do is, they are big in psyops. Psyops, they create a facade of false reality to make you believe these things. Right? These people work for pedophiles, right? There's a lot of projection. They work for pedophiles. The program they work for do horrible things to children. They sexually torture children. They have been using these tactics that is very pedophilia-centric. Very pedophilia-centric. Onto so many others that what I said, what I'm saying, can be heard from so many others. You see this behavior that is so consistent in regard of how they manipulate people. But they want me to let them live their fantasy, but that's their job. Not even let them live the fantasy. They want me to let them think that makes sense, and I'm gonna not see this for what it is. That this is part of the way they break down the target individual. There's a whole portion in this interview which I'll make sure that I make videos specifically about it. This video, let me bring it up. There's a whole portion that is specific of the breaking down of the psyche of not the psyche, the ego of a target individual, right? As I'm saying that, they are trying to disorient me, but tell me, and listen to how disgusting and obvious these people are. They are disorienting me, but tell me that we're going to frame you, right? We're going to use our own children, coerce them to say that you did something to them sexually because they are underage. And then that frame is going to make me, they're going to send me, they're going to frame me by using their own children, which means I'm going to go to jail. And in jail, their man is going to do things to me, right? You heard that they're willing to coerce their own babies. Another thing they like to say is like they're going to implant child porn on my computer so I can be framed in that way. So in every way you should look at them, they are very pedophilia-centric. And what they try to exaggerate, what they try to talk about, is about me in middle school. Do you understand the stupidity? There's a whole portion here. And this, you should check it out, and I'll make a good video about this. I just need time. I don't want to just, have. I don't want to just. Let me see. There's a whole portion of this video with Robin Duncan, and I forgot the name of it. It's called Concrete. I think it's the Danny Jones podcast, right? I think that's it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think that's. And there is a whole portion called Process of Breaking Down Human Mind. What it means is, They're literally trying to break you down using reactions that disturbs you, thoughts that disturb you, stimulation that disturb you. This breakdown is usually pedophilia centric. It's part of how they break your brain to restructure you, to create you in different ways. And so this is why this illogicalness is used. They try to use this stupidity. It's like, no, but you see, this psychopath say that you don't change with it. This man was saying that he's been going to jail, right? He's been doing things for years because of apparently he's a psychopath. He'd been doing things a lot of time to the point where he had to go to the doctor because something was keep happening. He kept doing these things, right? And then he's like, at this point, I don't think I'll change. I don't think you can change. You just get older. Because this man has been doing these things for years and years and years and years and years. And to me, they're like, no. Oh, you change, huh? From middle school. This imbecility. It is retarded. It's retarded. And what they try to say is like, no, but remember what you did as a kid in middle school. This is coming from people who've been consistently, the entities they work for have been consistently ranked top tier in regard to child pornography trafficking within the networks of the DoD. They've been ranking all the network in the United States. The DoD was ranked in 2018. We're not talking about decades ago. We're talking about in 2018. 19th out of 2,900. You know what they were saying before? Oh, we're reformed. It's like, oh, now you changed. Delusional trash. These people, they have to play this part though. They have to play this character. Of course, they're smart enough to know what this man was saying, but they have to be this dumb. It's part of how they make me lose my mind. Do you think they don't understand that? Yeah, he's saying that he's been doing these things for years and years and years and years, and at this point, he's like, people don't change; they just get old. Meaning that he's been doing this thing for so many years, it's not gonna change. He's just gonna get older. He's not talking about, hey, in middle school in 2001, that one time I did stupidity. That means that you don't see how dumb down they have to make themselves be. Actually, before that, I wanted to watch this. I want to show this. This is the nasty thing they do to me. I'm watching this. Look, as I'm saying, they always try to do something to me. I'm looking at this, and there's other. Oh my gosh! Even look at this. This is like something on my Instagram. Very wholesome babies, and they start forcing me to get stimulation. Not to the extreme though. It's like, now black little girls is here. Remember we mapped it to you. You mapped me. Can you imagine? No, we map your brain to you as a child. And the reason why they do that is because August 19, 2000, the summer, August 19, 2019, my brain restructured, rewired. I will always get forced stimulation. I used to watch these things, this wholesome stuff all the time. After that date, they forced me to get stimulation, which they start saying, no, what we did is like we mapped your brain to you when you were a kid. That's how you react to this if when you were a child. And today, like, now you see, oh, you changed, huh? You're not a child anymore, huh? What? Oh no, you see that guy who said he's this psychopath? Say people don't change. They just get old. You mean the man who was getting arrested every time? All the time? Who decided to go see a doctor because this was happening all the time? That man. Do you think he's talking about, hey, in middle school I did this? You see people don't change. So they force us, target individuals, to get a reaction. This is part of the breaking down. So this nastiness toward these kids, and there's multiple kids here, like this, is the way they break you down mentally, psychologically. This is this tactics of just destroying the individual. But this destruction has a purpose. The purpose is to be able to control the person. And so as I'm saying that, somebody comes and they have this whole persona via V2K. So I'm a target individual who has who's a target individual who is synthetic and V2K applied onto me. And so you hear this trash say, oh, we mind this, he does. It's just like they're full on characters, clowns. And so I'm like, I'm thankful I never had to live this life, because I will have to be like this too. It's like, oh, he does, huh? Yeah, he does mine. Dude, in 2 seconds, I can listen to testimonies of many. Matter of fact, I can listen to the no touch torture, where this same man that was interviewing, he interviewed, I think he said around 2,000 or so, where he said almost all of them. For this survey specifically, he interviewed 1,000. He said out of all this 1,000, the 1,000 he surveyed, all of them, almost all of them, were saying that child porn was being implanted in the brain to be viewed in the brain. So you understand that pedophilia is something they utilize. Other target individuals have literally said they forced me to get sexual reaction towards children. Some other target individuals have literally said, I'm experiencing this pedophilia type of torture. But these retards working for entities, and when I say retards, I know they're not. They have to become something. They have to dumb themselves down. It's part of the ways of trying to break you down in order to accept, right? And they want you to accept. Sometimes they use their tonalities, like, I won't be, huh? And then when we man, and they're like, this is a fucking clown. I've seen this guy. This guy would pass by me. He was trying to say hi. I looked at it. I was like, you're a fucking clown, man. Like I couldn't even try to pretend to look at this guy. 2 seconds, he's gonna be like, yeah, no, it's you, huh? And in front of him, there was some like childlike looking person just walking, trying to show it. And I'm like, this is all this gimmick. Like, I understand. I have to wake up. I have to be like, okay, what's happening here is they're doing this whole thing because my brain is being used, my body is being used for the development of this technology, right? One other part to break you down is they're going to try to disorient you and depattern you. The depatterning is going to be nasty. It's the breaking down of the ego. That means they're going to force me to get stimulation to children. They're going to try to do everything nasty to break me down. The things that are going to disturb you the most is going to be applied onto you 24/7. They find what it is, which in most cases is going to be the same thing. Pedophilia is going to work on everybody, or almost everybody. So they see, oh, this guy doesn't like that. Let's do that all the time. On top of that, we're gonna make logic out of nonsensicalness. We're gonna act accordingly. We know better. We're not that stupid. But for the purpose of this person to lose his mind, to be the parent, we're gonna play this part. Oh, you see, this psychopath has been doing things for years and years of going to jail and whatever. Say people don't change. They get old. You see, you didn't change from when you were in middle school. People don't change. Even this psychopath understood what it meant. It means they don't change for who they really like. Him going to jail every year or going to doing things like that meant that this is basically who he was. He's not talking about in middle school that one time I did that thing. People don't change. Stupidity. Delusional trash. And today, pedophilia type of torture applied all the time. And I'm hearing, and they like to use children because children have no self-respect. They're like, it's fake for what you did. They are in a program that literally torture children. They're literally in a program that does sexual things to children. Working for entities, listen to how childlike they are. Working for governmental entities, specifically the Department of Defense, that in 2018 was ranked a 19 out of 2,891 network in regard of trafficking child pornography. Meaning the entities that they work for, they contracted, the technology, the program that is who's running this program. The reason why I'm going to lose my mind is because they're working for governmental entities who have shown clear pattern of trafficking so much child porn that Child Protective Services ranked them 19th out of 2,900. They are not talking about some group of people who did something stupid in middle school. These people are delusional. But this is part of what they're supposed to do. They have to act this way. They have to act delusional. They have to stay in character. It's right now. It's a lifelong character for them to play. Not lifelong, but as long as I'm here, they have to stay in that character. They have to maintain this retardation. I I know some of them, I'm sure, can turn it off, but it must be discussed. It must be draining to having to dumb yourself down to that level. Yesterday, hearing this this listening to the podcast and hearing the clear obviousness of what's happening, that this technology is 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 weapon development to see how to crush a human being using cognitive manipulations, altering the brain, and they use the same manipulations to break you down. Now, I'm isolated. I don't see a lot of people in person. When I see them, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I remember when I went to the office one day, and that's what I was almost left. Like, it's just so bad. And they use, listen, like I said, they want credibility. I work with people who are very good at what they do. And what they try to do is, listen, look at me. I'm good at doing this thing that has nothing to do with anything around or about you. I'm good at making PowerPoints. I'm good about making these Excel sheets to look this way because I'm involved in this. Look at me. Am I not credible? Should you not believe me that you are this? That we're not manipulating you? Look at this graph. Is it not a nice graph? This is how they want you to start thinking. They have no shame. I'm like, wow, nice graph. You work for entities that manipulate the brain in these pedophile ways. Why? Because you try to break down the brain. Because breaking down the brain means that you can manipulate the brain. You depattern the brain to repattern it in the way that is the way you want it. It's part of the mind control tactics. The pedophile type of torture has been so used on target individual that when surveying 1,000, almost all of them have said that they're experiencing this kind of tactics to be tortured. So much so that women are saying that I'm being forced to feel sensation stimulations, and sometimes they aim that toward children. And this is all part of just to cognitively break you down. And they have the ability, and yes, you who do this graph and nice graph, you know that I know that you have the ability to manipulate not only thoughts, but that means the whole body. Meaning you can force somebody to have sexual arousals. How are you going to manipulate the sexual arousals? You're going to aim it toward children. Why? To break me down. Why the need to breaking me down this way? Because this is the most disturbing things, and the breaking down of the human being is needed for the repatterning of his brain or her brain. While the entities, let me show you. You see how you know how to do this graph? Okay, now let's talk about patterns. Beside the pattern of the testimonies that show there's a pattern that these tactics are used, there's another big time pattern that you try to escape from. The entities that have given you the empowerment to manipulate my brain, those entities, matter of fact, have shown a pattern, a consistent pattern in trafficking child porn, meaning that they've been sharing, circulating, and producing child porn using Department of Defense technology, Department of Defense computers, Department of Defense network. So much so that Child Protective Services, as you understand, Child Protective Services protect children. They are the internet watchdog for child porn. They ranked these entities that have empowered you to be gods to me as 19th out of 2,900. That means that they're really in the top tier. But this didn't happen once or twice. This has been consistently ranked at a top tier level. What kind of pattern do you see? Oh, now the pattern of me in middle school doing this thing one time. Then you go even to my younger childhood, manipulate my memories so you can create false patterns. And then every day manipulate my memories to change me, literally rechanging my memories. So in my adulthood, you can make me experience these things. Which, by the way, when you listen to this man talking, the way they've been wiping memories and changing them into something else, this in the 60s, 70s, they were working on this. It is nasty, but it's so validating at the same time. It's so validating. And then they talk, nah, that's abuse, and try to diverge because they talk about me as a kid. The thing I did to myself, it needs to be exaggerated. While not only they do this peripheral type of torture, but it's clear that they do these horrible things to children. They use children as test subjects, meaning they do these horrible things to children, harm them, and not only just physically but sexually. And these bottom feeders are working for this program. And for me, I've understood these people. They're going to do the nastiness. When I make this video, I'm not trying to change what's going to happen. I've accepted reality. But the people involved in this, yesterday I saw this man. This guy is trash. To me, it's the worst way to get old. You cannot age in this disgusting ways. Now, he's not the only one, but he's the one who I believe is going to coerce his children to create this frame. A grown man. This man, I believe, he closed, I think he's in the 60s. This is a grown man who is going to have his children or his grandchildren, I don't know what, or at least that's what I believe, to say something, to coerce his children or his grandchildren, to say something about a grown man like him. Listen, if he's in his 60s, maybe he has another 10, 20 years. That's going to fly like that. Wow. You tell me that's how you're going to die. That's how you want to live life before you die. Training your children to lie about nastiness. Live that nasty life. And he tried to talk to me. I can't even say anything. I'm like, it's just like too much. Like the way I see him has just been so disgusting. And then I see the next door neighbor say, oh, okay. Yes, trash. Yes. What do you think? What do you think? Like these people live this. Do you think I'm going to let you live your fantasy? Do you know in every way I've seen, you guys work for pedophiles, you know that? And it's like, now you pay for it. Because they were trying to make me imagine this thing, okay? When I was in middle school, you know, I'm an adult. I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, what was I thinking? But I understand I'm a child at the time. I'm the age of this kid. This is why I put things in perspective. I'm the age of this kid. You see, this is a kid. This is not an adult. If this kid does something impulsive or something stupid one time, he'll never think about it ever again. That's what children are. The brain of a child is developing. This is what a child looks like. The brain of this kid is still developing. He's not fully formulated. He's just still learning. His brain is not, he hasn't created, like he's still developing. He doesn't, this child does something stupid around this age, never thinks about it again. You understand that he did something stupid as a child because he was a child that was still developing. He didn't. That's the mind of a child. Now, if this kid was doing so much, doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over, that's like, okay, that's a pattern, right? They try to exaggerate what I did when I was this age to myself, having to create something. And there's one moment where I was doing whatever I did to myself, and there's one moment where it's so disgusting. I stopped something from happening. Right? They even tried to change when I stopped. It's like, you feel that feeling, that stimulation that they make me have to do. I was like, you're disgusting. And let me repeat that. I was the age of this kid. Never happened again. I stopped this. They're like, oh, they're going to kiss you, Benzo. I was like, these people want to exaggerate what I did as a child of that age. This thing never happened again. I know they hate that. Because the truth is, if I wanted to, let's just say, I was like, oh, I want to do this again. I would have done it again. I could have done it any time again. And it's not like, I'm just saying that this is how impulsive it was as a child. It could have happened multiple times. It didn't. Because I was like, oh, what was that? I didn't even think about it ever again. That is what a child that age is capable. And in my brain, to the point to that they were trying to make me imagine doing this again or creating version of it or some kind of level of that. It's like, why did it not happen? Why? Why did it happen once? Why did I not do these imaginations and scenarios you make me imagine? It's because that was an impulsive moment of a child. Now, this is a grown man in his 60s. He wants me to think, okay, think about what you did as a child. As a child around that age. Pay for that. Wow. This man is involved in a program that does this to kids.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. The patient had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated,
that's a 7-year-old being suffocated.
Both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow.
Those are 4 and 5-year-old children with Down syndrome that they were sexually torturing. Stories like that are around. There's more of that. They torture children, maybe not always sexually, but they torture them, they harm them, they burn them, they radiate them. And they want me to think about what I did as a kid. And matter of fact, now they are making me imagine other scenarios, create a scenario of how this will happen again. It's like, you are making me imagine it did not happen again, not because I could not do it again, in the sense that whatever I did as a child, I could have done it again multiple times. It didn't, because as a child, it's something I did to impulsively. It was not something I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the other time I do that again. I'm gonna wait again, and then wait again. They try to make me imagine this. They make me say something that I didn't mean to say. I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna do this. No, what I did was impulsive. I was there, did some damn thing to myself. Whoop, never thought about it again. Never. To the point that in these manipulations of the imaginations, they would try to create scenarios of, now imagine this happened, this, and me, stupid enough, not knowing that they manipulate my imagination, I was like, no, this will not happen again. And they tried to like, no, and they tried to give me the scenario in my head. Oh, if you had the opportunity, it's like, listen, I did what I did once. Things didn't change. I could have done it multiple times. It didn't happen because that's what a child is capable of doing. Now, can you imagine people involved in a program that torture children are here trying to have this argument? Them involved in torturing children are trying to make me imagine what I did as a 14-year-old, and then try to make me imagine multiple actions of that nature that never happened, but can make me imagine. And it's like, no, but this could have happened again. It's like, but it didn't. It didn't. Why? Why did it not happen again? What changed? Why? Yeah, I know why. Because I didn't want to do any of that. That's why. That's the sole reason why. It's because there was some impulsive moments that never happened. Because as a child, even after I did that one time, I never was interested in doing any of that. It was just an impulsive moment. That's why. Not because now I was somewhere else. No. That's why. It's that simple. Now you guys are trying to create an imagination. Well, what if she was passing by and they give me the stimulation? I was like, this is you making me imagine this nastiness, give me the stimulation, all of that. And stupid me at the time, before understanding that they will complete control of my imaginations and my thoughts, I'll be like, no, they'll give me the same, okay, if that would have happened, this and this and that. And I'm like thinking, it's like, no, it won't happen. And they will make me imagine this happening. I was like, why did it not happen then? Why? Because there was no interest in that. What happened as a child is what a child can do impulsively. What you're making me imagine is what you're trying to force me to exaggerate, to think. Try to create patterns that are non-existent. You are creating false pattern because this is the brain. This is the age which I'm trying to pull up this picture to bring up reality. And the reason why I bring up pictures of kids in middle school is because this is truly how they want me to start thinking. This is what a child is in 8th grade. Can this kid do something impulsively and never happen again? Yes. Now, they are trying to make me imagine ways this could happen again when it didn't happen again. When I was literally, if this would have happened, if I wanted as a child like this to do what I did that one time, I could have done it, but I didn't because I didn't think about it. I was not interested in it, and that was that. So they are trying to make me accept this nasty manipulation by creating false pattern, making me have stimulation and sensation, and making me imagine this happening multiple times. Then go into my childhood, give me false stimulations, all because they have these tactics of breaking down the human mind. They do the pedophilia type of torture. I'm not a child. In the first place, to try to make me and convince me that what we're doing is we're making your brain be a brain of a child. It shows how retarded they have to be. When I have validated that they do the pedophilia type of torture, the testimonials of other target individuals literally saying they are forcing my brain, they are making me have thoughts that are pedophilia centric. They are forcing me to have sexual stimulation and aiming the sexual stimulation toward children. Almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their mind. You hear the noise campaign from the construction. I think they're trying to time it in order to make me accept these things. And I'm talking to people who literally are working for governmental entities that have shown clear pattern of consistency, of volume, in regard of child pornography circulating so much within the network that they're working in, which is the DoD network, the Department of Defense network, using Pentagon devices as sharing and circulating and trafficking so much child porn that the children protective services that is focusing on the watchdog and focusing on internet child porn have named them, which they call the child porn watchdog of the internet, have named them, have ranked them 19th out of 2,900 in regard of the amount of child porn trafficked. You tell me, where is the freaking pattern while you are manipulating my brain and making me imagine things that didn't happen, try to exaggerate what I did as a child, and try to create, now, but this would have happened if this and that. Like, why didn't it happen then? Why did it not? If this is how I felt and this, why did it not happen? They tried to create this, manipulate my memories, try to find ways. I know you felt that stimulation when it's like, now you're lying. And never happened again because there was no interest there. There was no like something I wanted to do again. No, I did it. Matter of fact, the second I did what I did that one time, it completely left my brain. I forgot about it completely. As a child, that do something impulsive. Now what they do in my memories? Oh no, when your cousin was braiding your hair, she did this. You feel that stimulation. No, you're making me having this stimulation there. As a child. And so today I'm in my 30s, going to my 40s. I'm here being told that this manipulation that we do to so many others is just us making you be a child again. About this age. We're making your brain, your 30-some, you're going to 40, having a brain of somebody that age. Listen, whatever horrible things I'm going to go through, I got to say this. I want to thank God while I can thank Him now. Because when I'm in suffering, I'm in pain, and I'm screaming in pain, I don't know if I will be able to do that. But I want to say that now because I could have been involved in this program. I can see why these people love it, right? I understand these people feels empowered. Like I said, they can control me in so many ways. The entities that have empowered them to do this, to not only me but others, are the entities who I keep saying are ranked in such way. But they have no control what's going to happen to them. They don't know when they're going to die. They don't know how they're going to suffer. They don't know when they're going to suffer. They don't know who's going to die around them. Some of them, death is at their door, but this is a distraction. With me, they see how much powerless I am because I'm a test subject for these governmental entities that manipulate the brain in so many disgusting ways. And for the price of doing that, to be involved in that, they have to make themselves, they have to turn on the brain. I have this man that is almost a grandfather. He probably has grandchildren that young. Imagine we say, hey, we're going to make you the brain like that. You see when your kids and then manipulate the memories, even to try to create that, to make him a match who mapped it. No, you are forcing, you manipulate my memories as a child. Then you make me experience today as an adult. Something that you said that you saw me experience as a child. While I'm listening to the obvious breakdown tactics, which consist of the pedophilia type of torture, which consist of sexual stimulations that are aimed toward children. Then thoughts are manipulating this nastiness. So when I'm crying, when I'm dying, when I'm screaming, I'm just thankful that I didn't have to die myself down. Because this price, I'm not dying, like, my death is going to come at a good price. Maybe more than I thought. For little old me, I dragged so many people down like that. It's not free. Many people compromise themselves just because of me. I mean, there's already many people who were even saying that we've been cursed already. So that basically said that we've been compromised already. I'm being cursed. I've been doing that to other people. So some people, obviously, this is not their first, and I know people have expertise in that have done that to me. I have done that to others, many actually, and I know this people who are new doing this just to me, just started doing that to me. So for the new one, I just drag them down. But they chose this. They compromised themselves. Now they're here having to counter reality. I was on the call with this woman. You can see how she's just losing her mind. Try to counter reality. Oh, it's not fair. It's not fair because the child porn issues in this DoD entity shows that there's a problem with pedophilia in the DoD network, in the DoD entities. There's a real problem. That shows there's a lot of pedophiles working in this DoD. You know what she responds? Oh, it's not fair. So you see, that's the life you have to. That's the life. You're here, try to counter reality because for me, like now we mapped you to your brain now. While working for governmental entities where there's such an issue of pedophilia that Child Protective Services is ranking the DoD as 19th out of 2,900 for the sharing of trafficking of child porn within the network. And it's like, oh, that's not fair. It's like, you see, that's how pathetic it is now for you. Then because I'm listening to how they torture children sexually. Oh, we're bad, we're horrible, we're horrible. It's like, can you imagine? A grown-ass woman saying, oh, it's horrible, we're torturing children. Oh, we're so horrible, we're so bad. Like, and they're like, oh, you're gonna die slow. And then she eats because they're doing something to my organs. Like, eat your nastiness, eat. I don't envy you. Eat. It's like, it's not fair, we're gonna frame you. Yeah, eat. Yeah. You badass. The worst is those people interacting with me via V2K. So disgusting. So It's gonna be horrible because they're gonna see what's gonna happen to you. It's like you do that. Listen, this is what they're part of. Those are women's faces that you see in legs. I'm talking about trash who are involved in this, and it is horrible. So, if this happens to me, when it's happening to this woman, on Tuka, I gotta say that thank you God that I'm not involved in a program that does this. And like, nah, it's fate. Yeah, it's not fate when it's them, right? It's bad luck. One thing I gotta say is like I can never look at it as like, oh, why me, God? Why? Because it'll be why her? Why them? Why this woman here? Why these children that you heard, these little girls? The little 4-year-old that they're torturing sexually. While the 5-year-old they torture sexually with Down syndrome. Why the 7-year-old? Why they suffocating that 7-year-old? Why? Why this woman, Catherine Nestor, and her young child? Why? Why this woman and these girls being tortured? Why the 3-week-old baby? The 3-week-old little girl? Why? I know why. It's not fate. It's because they need human test subjects, to utilize this technology on to continuously improve and develop this technology. So with this trash, this gimmicky low life like this, which I wish I have more picture of them. Not of them specifically, but of people like them. These are not here to protect children. They like to say, "Ah, girls." It's all a gimmick, a psyop. It's all big psyops. So look, they're here to see what's happening to my brain, implement this manipulation, and try to make me accept these manipulations. Trash us. That's why I say thank you, God. Give me strength for the horrible things that they're going to do to me. But they're doing horrible things to little girls, to little boys, to women, and men all around the world. So I understand. I'm not any different from them. What it's not fair for them. So why would it be? Like, why would I be saying why me when you do that when this is happening to children and women, blinding them as they're blinding me? 9-year-old. This is who is talking to me. So my target individual, stay strong.